Hi everyone, my name is Gumaywa, Mwavali, but everyone calls me G. I'm an interior designer, a visual artist, and a woodcraft artist, and also a mental health champion. I'm also a person with a lived experience of bipolar disorder. Bipolar is a mood disorder generally characterized by extreme highs and lows in your mood. The extreme high called mania, and the extreme low called depression. In the extreme high, you experience high levels of energy, restlessness, sleeplessness, aggression, irritability. In the low levels, which is depression, you experience low levels in your mood, you sleep a lot, you become very sad, and it gets to a point also where you become suicidal. As a person living with bipolar, I sought out to create awareness on mental health issues through a platform called Strokes and Prose. Now, Strokes and Prose is a Christian faith-based platform that focuses on using the arts to create awareness on mental health issues, provide psychosocial support to the youth living with mental illness, and also mentor young and upcoming artists, mentoring them to hone their skills and so that they could have a decent income. And my first experience with a mental illness was in class 7. Right at the onset of puberty, I used to experience very high levels of energy and I used to be very moody. And it went undetected because it was thought I was just going through adolescence, because it was just at that point when I was experiencing it. Then it was in Form 1 that I was also taken ill and I was diagnosed with cerebral malaria. And between Form 1 and Form 3, I was in hospital a lot and I had to change schools in Form 3. And in Form 3, I got to interact with a psychologist who was part of an art club that I used to be an organizing chairman of. And I used to meet him very occasional, and because we had a very close interaction, it was easy for him to point out that I had an issue. When I actually presented to him that I was having problems and I shared with him my health history, he said that I had manic depression, which I later on came to learn that it was bipolar. In my first year of college, it was also very hard for me to integrate myself in college, and I used to experience a lot of panic attacks. So at least twice a week, my mother used to come to pick me from school because I could not even sit in class. And one time, my principal recommended to my mother that I see a neurologist, because it was thought that because of the panic attacks, it was thought that I had epilepsy. So I saw the neurologist, who after an assessment, he said that the case was not his, and later on referred me to a psychiatrist. And in a period of 7 years, this was the first time I was seeing a psychiatrist. And after an assessment, he diagnosed me as having seasonal affective disorder. But after a series of sessions with him, close to 1 year, he conclusively diagnosed me as having a mood disorder of bipolar. It has not been an easy journey for me. First of all, because it took long for me to accept the fact that I had a mental illness. Being a Christian, I really believe in healing, and every time I would speak up and be in a crowd speaking up saying I've been healed and I believe I'm okay, and I'll go off my medication only for a few months for me to have a relapse, and sometimes this will incapacitate me so that I cannot do life. I had to take breaks from school for sometimes up to 6 months just to have a proper recovery time. And it took me a while, and eventually, after I accepted that it is what I have, this is what I have, and I had to learn to cope with it. And during one of the breaks, it was a 6-month break out of college, I did all I could to learn about bipolar disorder and other mental illnesses, and as well as coping mechanisms. And while at it, also devised my own coping mechanism that worked for me, because I knew at that point in 6 months I was going back to school, but I knew in 2 years I'll be done with school. So I had to learn to cope in and out of school. And through that acceptance, it has helped me to live out my life fully, being able to finish college, being able to be employed right now. And also, because of that, I've also been very active in sharing my story, my journey, and the goodness of God in that journey.